Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures, where I'll be talking and reviewing action figures from different manufacturers. Today we're going to be continuing with some more G.I. Joe classified figures. So of course this is Edward Torpedo Leilola of the G.I. Joe Classified series, our first Navy SEAL in the line, but we'll be diving into more of that when we're going to be looking at the history of this figure. Of course we have these horrible boxes from Hasbro because nobody really likes this one, and this is why we got back to the blisters, but at this time we didn't have it. Of course, you have the figure with his accessories, you have a little bit of a drawing, you have a mise en scène, if you can say like this, of the figure. Then on the other side, you have the height of the figure, what he comes with accessories, and 2 points of the highlights of this figure. So, of course, as you can see, this is number 73 in the G.I. Joe line. It was sold at a suggested retail price of €24.99 in the US and €29.99 in Europe. Of course, this figure came out in 2023. So let's have a closer look at what we get in the box, history, my thoughts, and is this a collectible item? So let's talk history. So here is my mint in box figure of our friend the Torpedo. So this figure came out in the original line in 1983. As you can see, they did a pretty good job in making a figure that looked very similar. As you can see, he does have a bit of a pale taint on this face compared to what he should be, due to the fact that this guy is supposed to be from Hawaii, and you would be, if he's a native from Hawaii, he would have a darker tan because of the exposure to the sun, and also the people who are from Hawaii have a darker typical kind of skin, so this doesn't kind of make sense. But again, this was the fact. I do find it very funny that this is not the version that I had as a kid. Well, not to say exactly this one, but he came in Action Force line. And the thing who's very funny about the figure is that the guy is still called the Navy SEAL, but he is from Netherlands, Rotterdam. So, I mean, this does not make really sense, but again, this is how the figure was. There's also a Japanese version of this figure, so it's something that we can have a look at, but I think I will be showing that when I be reviewing it. I do not have the Japanese somewhere around here. Of course, I do have the 25th anniversary line figure. I didn't want to go and pick up one of the mint in box versions that I have for sale, but as you can see, there's some very interesting upgrade compared to the other one. He comes with a pistol. On this side he has a knife, but that's somewhere in the box. He does have, of course, a little pipe who goes from his suit. He has also some fins, a spear gun, and the figure itself looks really pretty neat as a figure itself. And I really like it, what they did with the 25th anniversary line. Of course, we can see that the head sculpt is still not really so tan, so of course not perfect, but a very nice upgrade to the figure, who is going to lead us into the new classified version. So let's have a look what we get in the box. Of course, we get our figure. We get some fins for him, or flippers over here. We have a spear gun for the figure. We also have the breathing system over here. We have the respiratory mask over here. And of course, what diver will not be complete without a diving knife? And of course, something that we didn't get with the original figure, we get an extra machine gun over here with one, of course, ammo clip removable. So that's what we get in the box. Now, before going into my final thoughts and also saying, do I think that this is a valuable item, I will be starting by that. Now, this figure did sell out. Of course, everybody knows that I'm a huge fan of the retro line figures. So if you did miss out this figure, maybe not really worth running after this figure, because he's going to come out in the retro line, and I guess he's going to be getting exactly the same gear, because all of this can fit on a single card. I can understand that maybe some people will not want to wait to get this guy in the retro line, because of the simple fact that there should be the divers coming for the mass device, and if you want to recreate the mass device, you might want to have Torpedo dive in with the other Joes with the yellow and dark diving suit. So yeah, that is something that you may want to look into. So again, if you don't want to wait for it, you might have to pay a bit more expensive due to the fact this figure is sold out, but I don't really think it's such a high-end collectible, so it's maybe not a miss if you didn't manage to get this figure. Now, going into my thoughts about this figure, what is my note I'm going to be giving for this figure? Well, this is going to be something of a figure that is a bit of a disappointment. Now, everybody knows that I'm a huge G.I. Joe fan, and I really appreciate what they did in the G.I. Joe line. So, of course, you would say, well, why you don't like this figure? And I think the figure itself, if you're going to be reinventing the G.I. Joe line, as you can see here, you do have a problem of getting this weapon clips in and holding in, so that's something that is not very good. But for me, when I'm looking at this figure, this is not a reinvented figure. Now, if this figure would be in the line of the 25th not 25th anniversary, sorry, the retro classified figure, I'd be giving this figure 10 out of 10. They upgraded it a bit, they gave him a bit some extra stuff, there's some pouches on the side, there's the knife. Of course, I do think that the fact that he doesn't have a pistol is something that is really crucially bad, and but overall it would still give me, I would say, maybe not a 10 out of 10, but I would give him a 9 out of 10 easily for it if it would be the retro version. But this is supposed to be the reinvented version of this guy for the G.I. Joe Classified series, and I think they didn't go far enough. Of course, you're going to say, well, he does come with a machine gun on the side, but again, the figure itself does not make any sense. Now, of course, they're not calling them any more Navy SEALs. There's nothing other than this. Maybe it would be interesting to see what his file card would say, but if, from what you have been seeing, and due to the fact that most of the army has decided to go copyright on all the logos, emblems, and everything, I guess he's not anymore a Navy SEAL. He's just a US Army diver. So yeah, as you can see, the figure itself looks pretty neat, but for something who should be of a figure who should be for 2023, I mean, this figure really doesn't fit for me. I think there's a lot of missing items on it. I would have liked to get maybe some extra ammo clips, because this guy must be a friend of Deadpool, because, I mean, he forgot all his gear. He just has one gun. I mean, he's supposed to be a Navy SEAL, again. Why would he not have a silencer with the gun? And the possibility to put a silencer would have fit also. So I think for me, this as a retro line figure would be getting a good note, but due to the fact that this is a classified figure in the new generation of figures, this figure is going to get me a 6 out of 10. As I said, a lot of things are missing on this figure to really make it perfect. If they managed to do something so good in the 25th anniversary line, I believe that they could have pulled it off with the Classified series. So that's going to be it for the review of my Torpedo from the Classified series. If you like this kind of review, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Also, subscribe to the channel, it helps out a lot. And also, if you want to go and check out the pictures that I've done some cool pictures with the 60th anniversary. You can go and check them out on my Instagram page or on my Facebook page. The links will be in the description. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!